I just want to play a little bit. We're going to connect all of this. This judge in the case that sentenced Alec Murdaugh, I really think he was a really one hell of a judge, and he didn't get flustered. He kept his cool the whole time. He made his rulings, and he seemed very confident. Now, it was amazing to me that 2 days after Alec Murdaugh was convicted to life in prison, his lawyers submitted the appeal. Like, are you kidding me?
Oh, they already had it drafted. I mean, it's a piece of paper. They don't even have to state the grounds for the appeal. I mean, it's done in every single case. But so they're appealing the verdict and they're appealing the sentence. And it's literally like one piece of paper. You file it, you pay a fee, done. It's going to take forever for it to be decided.
Right.
Because
didn't you say that less than 1% of appeals actually win?
I don't know the exact statistics on that. But I will tell you that they are going to have to get the trial transcripts, which 28 days of testimony, it's going to be thousands and thousands of pages. And they're going to have to go through with a fine-tooth comb all of the testimony, to figure out what their grounds are going to be and file briefs. And it's going to take at least 18 months probably for an appeal to be decided in this case.
You know what I think the main, and not being a lawyer, and you can agree or disagree with me, but I think the main grounds that at least his defense attorneys will claim is that the civil part of this should have never been allowed into the trial because that prejudiced the jury against him. And in essence, that may have implored him to testify. I think that's where they're going to go with it. Your thoughts?
I think it's a two-pronged thing. I think number one, they're going to say that the evidence of the financial crimes should not have been allowed during the trial. The judge allowed them in for the limited purpose of motive. And I think that the defense will argue that they didn't consider it with regard to motive. They considered it to say that he was a bad guy. He stole all his money. So therefore, because he thought this was going to come out, therefore he killed his wife and son. And I think the second prong to the appeal is going to be the jury only took 45 minutes to come to a decision. Therefore, they couldn't possibly have gone through all the evidence and the verdict should be overturned. I don't think either one of them is going to be successful. Because based on all of the interviews that we've seen with the jurors on television, they were hanging on that Snapchat video and the fact that he lied about being at the scene. And that's what convicted him, in my opinion. I don't think the financial crimes really played into it, but we'll see what happens.
I think you're right. Let me play a little bit of this, Judge.
The death penalty, probably for lesser conduct. Remind me of the expression you gave on the witness stand. Was it tangled?
Tangled web, we weave.
Oh, what tangled web we weave. What did you mean by that?
Meant when I lied, I continue to lie.
And the question is, when will it end? When will it end? And it's ended already for the jury because they've concluded that you continued to lie and lied throughout your testimony. And perhaps with all the throng of people here, they, for the most part, all believe, or 80, 90%, 99% believe that you continue to lie now when your statement of denial to the court. Perhaps you believe that it does not matter, that there's nothing that can mitigate a sentence given the crimes that were committed. A notice of alibi was filed in this case by counsel in November, and we conducted a hearing, pretrial hearing, in which you claimed to have been someplace else at the time the crime was committed. Then, after all of the witnesses placed you at the scene of the crime, at the last minute, or last minutes or days, you switch courses and admitted to being there. And then that necessitated more lies and continued to lie. And I say, where will it end? It's already ended for many who have heard you and concluded that it'll never end. But within your own soul, you have to deal with that. And I know you have to see Paul and Maggie during the night times when you're attempting to go to sleep. I'm sure they come and visit you. I'm sure.
All day and every night.
Yeah, I'm sure. And they will continue to do so. And reflect on the last time they looked you in the eyes, as you looked the jury in the eyes.
You know, Melanie, I just want to say something there. I mean, it's so much to think about right there, what the judge said. As he said, I'm sure you're going to see Maggie and Paul every night before you go to bed. They're going to be in your mind. And there he readily admits to it, but he's not admitting that he's the person that killed them. You know what I mean? So it's such lunacy. And I just want to make another point. That what a tangled web we weave. To me, and I'm not a psychologist either, but that's psychology 101. That was a Freudian slip. That was almost an admission of guilt right there.
Well, finish the quote. What a tangled web we weave when first we practice to deceive. That was written by Sir Walter Scott in 1808. I thought it was Shakespeare, so I looked it up, but it was Sir Walter Scott, 1808, from a play that he wrote, and it's a famous quote. So yeah, he intended to deceive everybody. And the judge is saying, look, these two are going to haunt you in your nightmares for the rest of your life. And where are his tears now? Alec Murdaugh isn't crying. Cried a lot on the stand. He's not crying now. Well, odd, wouldn't you say? And you know what I like the most about that clip is the court officer behind him nodding as the judge is saying all this time. He's like, That
court officer definitely couldn't keep a poker face. No. You're right. The tears were just what he used to try to get sympathy from the jury.
Sure, along with his alleged drug addiction that there's not really any evidence of.
Yeah, no, I mean, I just think it's amazing as the judge, in a very cool, calm, collected way, is dressing him down.
Mm-hmm.
And he's just standing there like, like O.J. Simpson. We got to find the people that did this, Mm-hmm. We got to find the person that did this.
Right. But never once did he say that I'm aware of. Never once does he say to law enforcement when he's being questioned the night of the murders, you got to go find out who did this. You got to go out there and find the guys. No. He's talking about all kinds of other things, but never once did he say that.
No. Let's get the judge back.
I don't know person who's always been such a gregarious, friendly person and cause your life to be tangled in such a web, such a situation that yours have spun into. And it's so unfortunate because you had such a lovely family of such friendly people, including you, and to go from that to this. Your license to practice law has been stripped away from you. Turned from lawyer to witness, and now have an opportunity to make your final appeal as an ex-lawyer. It's almost, it's really surprising that you're waiving this right at this time. And if you opt to do so, it's on you.